Today, this story has little to joke about. That's rough because usually I like to instill some humor in my videos when the subject matter is a little heavier. This time around, it's just not appropriate. Why? Well, the concerns I had from last year going into this year are being realized. And other channels are just starting to cover this issue right now. So you're here ahead of the curve since I've been talking about the pending layoffs for this year for a long time. Yes, the world is going to be full of layoffs in the future, the near future. No sector is safe and tech is about to get completely wrecked. The false tech giants are falling on some very hard times and there is no more capital to raise, or at least very little. Hard times indeed. And Hollywood is getting to go through another round of layoffs of their own. I wish this was going to be more fun, but here we go. So on Sunday, I was struck once again by yet another article talking about a former industry leader, Odyssey in this case, filing for bankruptcy. While not in big tech, Odyssey owns the 4 biggest radio stations on the coast. They have 2 monsters in New York, and they have 2 monsters in California. They also negotiated an arranged Chapter 11, which means they're leaving about $350 million outstanding, which will be written off by creditors. But not everybody is making these kinds of moves, and if they are, it's a last-ditch effort, probably after a round of layoffs. And instead, large entities now are actually set to just start laying people off globally. First up, of course, is Xerox Holdings Corp. They recently announced plans to reduce their workforce by 15%, signaling the onset of job cuts in the technology sector for 2024. The company's decision to implement a new operational model and organizational structure is expected to result in more than 3,000 job cuts. Get used to all those statements because it's going to be everywhere. This move actually comes in the wake of a broader trend in the technology industry. The numerous tech giants out there like Meta Platforms, Amazon Inc., Microsoft Corp, and even Google are all getting set to announce further job reductions than even the ones they did in 2023. Last year, we experienced a substantial increase in layoffs, and that was witnessed primarily in tech companies globally, reaching about 261,000, or rounding up 262,000, which is a significant rise from the previous year, which was about 165,000. Already in 2024, we're off to the races in tech, with a large number of employees already let go so far in the first fiscal quarter of the year. In fact, 92% of employers anticipate more layoffs this year, with most companies complaining about financial issues and still managing to write big bonuses to the upper management. But many are very upfront right now, outright saying that they're turning to AI, most notably British Telecom. They publicly stated that they are about to give away 11,000 jobs this year. That's 1/5 of their workforce. And again, who was telling you that AI was going to take your job with no replacement? The situation has led to an increased public concern and interest, as reflected in the surge over at Google Trends. You see searches for massive layoffs in 2024. That's not a good Google trend that anybody would want to see. Additionally, several other companies across multiple sectors, such as Nike, Intel, and Citigroup, have unveiled plans for job cuts this new year, citing reasons ranging from, well, this is familiar, cost-cutting measures to shifts in organizational strategies. Those are all corporate buzzwords for we need to trim the fat because we're over bloated and we spent our allowance on ice cream and cookies. Oh, and those pesky executive bonuses too. Part of the cutbacks, believe it or not, are being attributed to DEI jobs that don't actually do anything for the company and certainly don't generate any profit or revenue, which is the whole point of having a business. Case in point, who's the biggest, baddest, and crappiest company of all right now, especially in the financial sector? Yeah, you guessed it, BlackRock. And guess what they're doing? Well, they're getting ready to lay off about 3% of their workforce for a total of 600 folks in the coming days. It's been publicly de-emphasizing their divisive investment in ESG, but that doesn't mean that they aren't going to keep it around quietly, just that they know it's publicly hurt them. And clearly it's hurt them enough for them to have to let people go so that everybody can get their executive level bonuses. Now, on the analysis side here, and I always like to bring the facts, a recent survey conducted by Resume Builder, you probably are familiar with them, which encompassed about 900 business leaders, has revealed some prevailing apprehensions about layoffs in 2024, with nearly 38% of the folks that participated anticipating staff reductions, and about half considering hiring freezes, which is the same thing. Concerns about a recession and the integration of artificial intelligence into the work processes were cited as a primary reason behind the anticipated layoffs. Again, AI is replacing your jobs, and there's no more coming. Industries likely to experience significant job cuts in 2024 are across all industries, actually, not just tech, which we seem to have been focused on. You have construction and software companies, obviously, with about 60% expecting staff reductions. But the survey also emphasized the adoption of performance-based approaches to keeping people around. So that's a major indication that if you can actually keep yourself employable, you should be okay. They're basically telling you to stay focused on developing a broad skill set and staying updated on technological advancements like AI. That'll enhance your job security, and actually doing a good job probably will too. And as companies prepare for potential layoffs, workers are advised to proactively engage in networking with other people in their field. You need to have skill enhancements and update your resume, and that'll help you navigate the uncertainties of a job market that could come crashing down this year. I'm not sure what help all that'll be in the long run, since the goal of AI is to rid the workforce of their work. But if you develop some skills outside of those types of industries, you could be okay. Now, one thing to note on the positive side, the service industries outside of tech aren't going to go anywhere anytime soon. In other words, like I said, if you have that new set of skills, especially on the physical side of the equation, you could go very far indeed and become quite wealthy. It might be time to dig out that old wood shop class, or maybe the HVAC mail order course that you put in for, because that gig could be the path to riches. I mean, it worked out in South Park, right? On that note, I just have a few questions for you, especially since we know that this isn't going to be the only set of industries that are going to be suffering this year. Do you suspect that layoffs will surpass the numbers that we saw last year, which was an increase from the year before and the year before that? Do you think people in tech will wake up to what will continue to happen to their jobs, which is basically those being replaced by AI? And do you think that Hollywood is at the beginning of a very large layoff cycle itself this year? Because, as I've said before in other videos, there's a decent chance that they've essentially cut all of their business in half, not just because of the strikes, but because of the overabundance of low-tier quality content that nobody's willing to consume and nobody's willing to pay for. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments section below, and until next time, as always, be sure to take care of yourself, take care of others, and see ya!